to Sports Opinions with Regular Guys. I'm Frank, this is Mike. Thank you for listening. Hopefully everyone did their duty and voted today. Very important election. A lot of things are up for grabs for that. So I hope you guys are doing that. Thank you again for listening. Wherever you're listening, however you're listening. We're going to talk actually about the week 8 results.
Yes.
Week 8 results of the NFL, particularly the Bears' performance against the Dolphins this past Sunday, along with some other games and games around the NFL. We're also going to get into the Bulls and talk a little bit about, a little bit of NBA if necessary.
Yeah.
We'll definitely talk a little bit about the Bulls because, there's a few things that, I want to get into about this team. I've watched their 10 games, or 11 games in, 10 games in. And I'm just kind of evaluating their first 10 games and what I see, what I like, what I don't like, and what does give me some concerns and things like that. So let's start out by talking about the Chicago Bears. And, well, I thought it was a great game, at least from an offensive standpoint. The Bears lost, which they were expected to lose, so there's no surprise there, I mean, everyone knew the Bears were going to lose. So to me, it wasn't, again, it's not about them winning because I expect them to only win 3 or 4 games this season. But it's the development of Justin Fields. And man, I feel so good that I'm right about Justin Fields so far because I said we got to see his development and see what he can do. This is a preseason for him, in my opinion. These games don't count right now. It's just how he develops an offense. And man, he broke a regular season record in rushing on Sunday, actually. 178 yards. Now, I think Colin Kaepernick broke the record, has the all-time record, but that's in the postseason game. Only by a few yards, though.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Justin Fields broke the regular season record, ran for 178 yards, rushed for another touchdown again this week. In the air, he was pretty efficient. He only threw for 123 yards, but he threw the ball 28 times and made 17 of those passes. And he had 3 touchdown passes. No interceptions, no turnovers, no fumbles.
Well, one of those interceptions got called back.
Well, it got called back. But he had a 106-point rating.
That was great.
He has been improving week after week after week. If you look at his numbers, they may be bad numbers when he started, but look at the improvement every week. The only thing he needs to cut down on was, in my opinion, is the turnovers, the sacks, and holding on to the ball too long. Now, he's learning to get rid of the ball because I think when did he get sacked? 2 times. Yep. That's better than getting sacked 5 times, like he's used to getting sacked, by holding on to the ball too long. He got rid of the ball. He didn't make stupid decisions and throw the ball, to the other player, or they get tipped by somebody and bounce off someone's helmet and get picked off that way. Bonehead, unnecessary bullshit turnovers that didn't happen. He was magnificent. That Bears defense looked great. They are the leading league in the NFL, leading team in the NFL in rushing. They rushed as a team. What was the rushing yards for the team rushing? 252 yards. They ran for over 200 yards the last 3 games. I think, half the games this year they ran for over 200 yards?
Well, a lot of that, thank you to Justin Fields.
Yes.
He did have a 61-yard
wherever else offense you can get.
61-yard run.
Yes. That was impressive.
It was.
Does it remind you, do you remember, this was when Michael Vick did this to the Vikings.
Yeah.
And like when he ran for that touchdown, 2 players ran into each other. He ran right into the end zone. They couldn't catch him. Yeah. That's what that play reminded me of when he ran for 61-something yards. Yeah. Like, it was in the open field. Ain't no one catching him.
No. And I'm really impressed by that. I mean, I was hating on him last year. I was hating on him in the beginning of this year because I felt we could have got someone or probably traded for someone more experienced because he kept getting sacked all the time. But he has improved. I mean, the kid is running week after week. He's using his legs like I've been asking. Instead of standing there and getting rocked every single game, you got the timing down now, and you see what he's doing. He drops back, and it seems like every time he does a little shimmy, People are reaching for him. No one can seem to grab this guy. He takes off. He doesn't look like he's running that fast, but he's outrunning everybody on that field. No one is catching Justin Fields. And I'm really impressed. I am. Yep. 178 yards rushing in a game is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, I was really impressed, and I think the Bears did a good job keeping up with the Dolphins, because I had said it was going to be a blowout. I thought the Dolphins were going to put up 40. They ended up putting up 35. I thought the Bears were going to put up maybe 14 points.
No.
Man, they put up 32 points on the Dolphins.
With this rushing attack, they should get at least 2 to 3 touchdowns a game.
This was one of the better games that I've watched this year.
Well, I mean, offensively, they've been playing great the last several weeks. The last, 3 weeks? 3 weeks? Since they had that bye, with that mini bye, when they shit the bed in Washington against Washington. Mm-hmm. Since then, they
kicked it up.
They picked it up big time.
And who made that happen?
Obviously it's Justin Fields.
Why? Why? I'm going to ask you why.
Because I think the coaching staff, the offensive coordinator, probably had a talk with the head coach, who told him, "Come on, let's let the cuffs off this kid and let's see what he can do. We got nothing to play for this season. We're playing for next year, as I told you they should be." Mm-hmm. And it's about his development. They say, "Okay, let's see what he can do," and I can show you what he can do. Now I'm not surprised by this. I've been saying, let's see what he can do. Let him run the offense. Let's see him throw the ball a little bit more. Let's see him run the ball a little bit more. I just don't want him holding on to the ball a lot. Now, it's going to come with experience, and not always putting the handcuffs on the kid. Let him loose now. I mean, goodness, this is his second year. Obviously, they know they're not going anywhere this season.
Okay.
So they're going to be primed. I mean, they're going to be primed to get some weapons for this man in the offseason.
I'm going to ask you something.
And the Claypool kid, he did good. That could be a pretty good duel there.
He is a good pickup. I told you he was a good pickup.
When you get Mooney some help, now they're gonna try to rush him now. You notice they're not trying to rush him no more too much now. When these teams want to rush Justin Fields and sack him, well, no, you have to be able to do that now. He's going to outrun you.
Yeah.
And so you have the three-headed monster. You have Herbert, you have Montgomery, and you have Fields. Three-headed monster rushing attack. And I think once they get some better players on offense, they'll be better. Now you got Claypool, you got Mooney, and you got Komet, who
came up big with 2 touchdowns.
Yes, and that's what I've been waiting for this guy. That's what we're waiting for this.
Thank you.
I mean, he is a big tight end who should be getting the ball to him.
He should be doing exactly what Travis Kelce.
That or Tony Gonzalez, something like that. I mean, you're a big man. You should be able to catch that ball.
Exactly what Travis Kelce is doing.
Yeah, I guarantee that probably if we had the talent to play talent around, like if you had Patrick Mahomes, I'm sure Patrick Mahomes would make sure Komet gets the ball.
Now let me ask you. Look at the way they're playing right now. Imagine if they had not got rid of all their best assets. I think the Bears would be contending right now, especially with how Justin Fields has developed into the player that he is.
They have more holes on defense.
We basically watched this guy mature as a player week after week after week. You can see the progression, and I like that. I enjoy that because there's so many quarterbacks out there that you see that give chances week after week, and they can't do shit.
Well, they got a bunch of shitload of picks, and they got a lot of money, so they're going to be able to take care of both sides of the ball. They're going to be able to get players on free agency, either in defense or draft them on defense. And they're going to do the opposite with the offense. Okay? So they need a decent key receiver. Let's hope Claypool is that receiver that they have. Maybe get another key receiver. We got to get a better offensive line. We got to shore up that offensive line. Okay? And then they got to decide what they're going to do with Montgomery. Are we going to keep him or are we going to trade him?
Why would we get rid of him? He's productive. He's good. Why do we need to get rid of him and start over with someone else when we don't even know what they got yet?
If a team, if they see some assets they can get for him and they know they're not going to sign him again,
I don't like
sign
that.
him.
I don't like
then
that.
You get the pieces for it.
The guy looks like he's experienced. He looks like he knows the
Oh
game.
No, I think he's fine. Yeah.
Timing in the game, and I love how he muffs players when they come at him, smacks them down. I mean, he's a rough hard-nosed runner, and I like that. I like that in him. I like David Montgomery, and
I think our offense is clicking a little bit. So they still gotta show up the offensive line. They still gotta get. I still think they gotta get another wide receiver.
For sure.
Yeah.
You can't just have Claypool out there being the main guy. Well,
Yeah.
Mooney showed up, right?
Yep.
Look who was the leading receiver. Mooney with a touchdown.
Well, yeah, and then they gotta shore that up a little bit. They gotta get. I gotta say maybe another receiver and an offensive line. Tight end, you might be able to get one there, but again, they also got to rebuild on the defense because they gave away a lot of pieces, obviously key pieces to rebuild this defense.
Yeah.
So they got where it goes. I got trust. Like again, I got trust in this management team. I don't think we got some lame duck, deer in the headlights.
Yeah.
Management crew that doesn't know what the hell they're doing, doesn't have good scouts, drafts horribly, picks up wrong key players. I mean, all that crap. You guys are competent, a competent coaching staff, competent management that'll try to make this goddamn team contending again. And that's all I ask is get the Bears to contend consistently. Consistently for years, not just for 1 year, for years.
Yeah.
4 years. I would like Eberflus to be. If Eberflus is coaching us for 12 years, that means he must be doing something good. Hell, we gave Lovie Smith 9 years.
Got us to a Super Bowl.
And out of those 9 years, he got us
to a Super Bowl. To a Super Bowl.
What, 3 playoff appearances?
And a Super Bowl appearance.
But we need more than that.
What have we done since he's been gone?
2 playoff appearances.
And then what?
That's it.
That's it. First round knockout playoff appearance. Come on.
Does this offense?
Come on. I'm excited.
Does it remind you a little bit of the first year Mark Trestman was here a little bit?
No.
Not a little bit because we had a passing game with
Trestman was running a lot of trick plays. You saw a lot of little trick.
But he was still putting up. The Bears were one of the highest scoring teams that
They
year.
are. They were.
Year.
They were. Because teams weren't expecting all these little bullshit.
You had the 2 combo.
Plays.
You had the Jeffrey and you had the Brandon Marshall.
Yeah, but after the league caught on to what he was doing, none of that was working anymore. None of it.
Well,
and that's why he's out the league.
That's true.
Back to this, the Grey Cup, not even a Silver Cup.
Well, I'm not gonna go without talk a little bit about the Dolphins.
Congratulations to Tyreek Hill.
Tua and Tyreek Hill, they did great. But let's be honest, guys. They played against a depleted, horrible defense.
I'm not taking anything away from that.
So
Tua made some great plays. I'm gonna give it to him.
Tua played against one of the worst defenses in the league, basically.
Come on, bro.
And so, the Dolphins, who were supposed to have a really good defense, the Cowboys the week before had supposed to have a good defense. New England was supposed to have a pretty decent defense, and the Bears torched all their asses for almost 30 points each.
29 the last one, 32 this one.
33 against New England.
Yep.
So
hey, I'm saying we look like we're getting back. I mean, come on, we're 30-point games here, 29-point game here, 32-point game there. I mean, hey,
we just don't have the defense right now. But
why is that? Because we decided to get rid of
all
our defensive guys, right?
But this is all about rebuilding.
We didn't need to do that. That's exactly the point I was asking you before.
How far do you think they're going to go?
That's the point I was asking you before.
How far do you think they're going to go?
Let me finish. That's the point I was asking you before. Had we kept our players defensively and we're putting up 32, 35, 29 points, we would probably win more games because they wouldn't have scored 49 points. They wouldn't have scored 35 points. They wouldn't have scored 38 points. That's the difference.
But here's the
we could be competing right now.
But here's the thing about that. So you kept these guys, right? And maybe we might have won those games.
We would have won the Washington game.
But the bottom line is, at the end of the year, we'll be the middle of the pack team with a middle of the pack draft pick. Not going anywhere. Not improving. On offense, yes, but then on defense, you weren't going to guarantee you were going to sign Roquan Smith at the end of the season. Okay? You weren't going to sign Quinn. You're going to get rid of these guys anyway, so get what you can for them. Simple.
Yeah.
So this year, again, and the Bears stuck to this. We're rebuilding. That's what we're doing. We're going to improve the offense. We're going to give up the players that we're not going to sign in the offseason. We're going to get rid of them. We're going to rebuild this team, and we're going to get better. I expect them to have a very good offseason. And next year is what I'm saying is when we should see the Bears compete and start winning some of these games. Not giving up 35 points. Bears are not a team that gives up 35. We may not win all of our games, but we sure the hell don't give up a lot of points. And Bears traditionally do not give up points like this.
So this is my thing with that.
We just don't score. That's all
logic,
the Bears.
Right? So we already had star players that we got rid of. We could have kept them. Instead, we get rid of them, tank the season, and just pick up whole brand new players again. And hopefully, they'll be able to put up numbers that a Khalil Mack would have been able to put up, or numbers that Roquan Smith would have been able to put up. Brand new guys out of nowhere. They're supposed to come out and do that. That's what we're rebuilding for, and I don't like that. I don't like it. There's no guarantee that these guys are going to come out. They're going to be great defensive players.
This is why our
no guarantee of this.
Well, that's why we have the GM and we have the coach to go and good scouts, and we're going to see what happens. So next year, I expect the Bears to be better. They're coached a lot better. A lot of this has to do with the coaching too. They're still in games. They're just not winning these close ones. Now, with much better talent, we'll win these close ones. Maybe they won't be close games. Maybe we'll have a decent defense. We'll give up 18 points a game and have an offense that scores 32 a game. Then that way we could be a 14-3, 15-2 team. Winning the division.
You know what, Frank? Check this out. I was just thinking about a great little way to describe this. Imagine this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Take, for instance, your nice little 70-inch TV over there. Works perfectly, great picture, great performance. And you decide, hey, you know what? I think I'm gonna sell this for $50 to somebody. $50. Hey, you go and you put it there and you floss that in your living room. $50, it's yours. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go to Target and I'm gonna get the Target brand one. I'm gonna buy that for maybe $250. And I'm expected to do exactly what my nice $700 TV that I had before. I'm expected to have the same performance, same picture, and longevity. Same thing. That's basically what we're doing, getting rid of our good players and bringing in nobodies and expecting them to just come out like diamonds in the rough. We're all going to form just with good coaching. That's what I see here with the Bears. We have a whole bunch of one-year guys signed up when we could have just kept some quality players or signed some quality players now.
Now you know that we have a new management. The Bears were tied up with money from last year. So they couldn't afford. That's why they were on all these players on the books. So they could not get anybody this season. That's why they got these one-year players. And there's a new coaching staff, a new GM. He wants to get rid of the old regime, okay? And with all that money tied up, that's why the Bears have so much free money this upcoming season. Because all these dead contracts come off the books. So they have over $100 million to spend. They have a shitload of draft picks this season.
Are people trying to come here? Are people trying to come here?
I think I mentioned this a couple weeks ago. In the NFL, it's not like the NBA. Everyone wants to play with their friends. No, really? In the NFL, your career is not that long. So you're going to go to the team that's going to give you the most money. If you're going to go to Jacksonville is offering you $200 million to play there for 5 years. And the Miami Dolphins are only offering you $110 million for the same deal, but you can come with us because we might be competitive. In the NFL, in the NBA, that might work. In the NFL, that ain't gonna work. I'm getting, and most of them get most of that money guaranteed. So I'm gonna go with the Jacksonville Jaguars, and I'm gonna play there because I'm gonna get all the money there.
Here, Devontae Adams just left, and he was offered more money at Green Bay, and he went to go play with his friend. So that happens in the NFL. You're trying to tell me that this doesn't happen?
Oh,
this man right here, Tyreek Hill, left to go play with Tua because he felt Tua had a better arm and was more accurate and was more of a star player than Mahomes.
Kansas City couldn't afford him.
So
that's why
he went to go play where he wanted.
He traded. No, he left Kansas City not because he wanted to play with Tua. He's just saying that shit. He left because
to suit you.
He left Kansas City because he knew Kansas City was not going to pay him that money because they spent all of their money when they signed Mahomes to that big ass contract last year. So they were not going to be able to afford Tyreek Hill. So Tyreek Hill, Miami can afford him because they're not paying Tua $200 or $300 or $400 million, whatever Mahomes is getting paid. So they're paying. He's on a rookie contract. So we got some money we could get Tyreek. Here, Tyreek Hill. Here's a shitload of money. Come play with us, and you got a young team here. So he's like, okay, I'll go there. Bye, Kansas City. I love you, Mahomes. I thank you for the championship, but you guys can't pay me. So I'm going here to Miami. In the NFL, it's different. They don't have a long time to play. They have a very short career. NFL is very short career.
Yeah, it's not for
so
long.
You got to get as much money as you can. That's the difference. So with that being said, the Bears, and obviously the Bears are proving right now. I mean, you don't think there's going to be players that want to play with Justin Fields next year?
Maybe.
Okay. You don't think, in a big market like Chicago, you don't think if they get the defense together that they can easily build a defense? You get free agency on defense, offer them a lot of money and rebuild it. It happens up to every team has to rebuild their defense. The Bears are a traditionally defensive team anyway. So you're going to want defensive players to play here. Because traditionally, when we have a defensive coach, by the way, head coach, they're traditionally a good defensive team. So they'll get the defense, will get in order. It's the offense that has to involve, like when Anthony was here last week, we were talking about how the offense has to evolve to the new century. Get with the times. And this little hybrid type, Justin Fields running and throwing the ball. If you get him some weapons, he may not have to run 178 yards a game. You could probably still run. He's going to have to cut that down anyway because, you're young. You have those fast legs. But he still has a good arm. And we got to get him some damn players that can catch the ball.
Yeah.
Now, two things I'm sure you want to talk about is the two bullshit calls that went against the Bears on Sunday that gave the game to Miami.
Yeah.
Because these referees, they know they fucked up. Sorry, guys, for the language, but they fucked up. Mm-hmm. And their refs know they fucked up. Especially that pass interference call they should have called on Claypool. Even the ESPN analysts were saying that was bull. Yeah. That should have been called. Like, what were you looking at? How do you not throw the flag there?
Yeah, I agree.
It
was plain as day. It was right there, and no call. But I expect that with the Bears, though, because it's like, look at how much Justin Fields used to get rocked. And no flags, no roughing the passer. Those were definitely on more star players. Those would have been roughing the passer calls. So I really do expect these kind of things. And wait a minute, what about the Darnell Mooney thing when he had the catch in the end zone? I mean, really, he was pushed before he caught that ball. That should have been pass interference, but that wasn't called that game. And he ended up fumbling the ball anyway. But he was touched and pushed before he even got a chance to get his hands on the ball. We don't get these calls. And hopefully, like you said, if we do save up enough money to get players like this, star players, then maybe we'll start getting some pass interference calls.
Well, the refs just need to do the job. Or they should go back to challenging pass interference calls.
How it goes. It goes by clout. Yeah,
well, that's why to kind of minimize that bullshit. Well, I don't know why they took away the flag to challenge pass interference calls. I don't know why they took that away. It's only 2 a game.
Slowing down the game.
It's only 2 a game.
I mean,
two per team. So you use one of your challenges to challenge a pass interference call. You only get 2. Once you use the 2, that's it.
Yeah.
Unless you win them both, then you get an extra 1.
Yeah.
So I don't understand why they got rid of that. They need to go back to that. They need to go back to challenging, not saying increase the amount of challenges, keep it the same, but you should be able to challenge other certain calls. I don't know why they don't allow that. That pass interference, that's bullshit. That should have been kept in place, not out of place. But Miami again, they had a great game. They put up 35 points. Tua had a good game. Tyreek Hill had a good game. They played a crappy defense, so they should have put up those many numbers. There's not much to say about that. So good job, Tua. You had 3 touchdown passes. Good job. Your team is not bad. They're 6-3. They're not better than the Bills.
Look at the total yards.
Yeah, the Bears were keeping up with them. Yeah.
We had more plays than they did, 70 to 53.
Well, what messed up the Bears was the stupid block punt for a touchdown.
Yeah.
That's the game.
Yes.
That's the game. Even with 2 or 3 touchdowns, Justin Fields played better. Justin Fields had 4 touchdowns.
I was so mad. I was so mad when that happened. It was unbelievable. No one even ran back to go even get that damn ball. It was like,
no one bothered to stop the guy either.
Let it go. Let it go. Let him go get the ball and let him run it back.
They probably were going to score the touchdown anyway. Tua probably
pissed me off.
Tua probably was going to give him a touchdown anyway, even if they did recover and didn't get it going in the end zone. It was going to be a matter of time. But still, how the hell do you get that blocked? Yeah. Then blocked for a touchdown. That was the game.
It was.
That was the game. Look at that. It was a 3-point game. You wipe away that touchdown, then they could have won.
True.
But it was a close game. They still lost. It is what it is. And, that was it. So I love
it. Next week?
They got the Lions next week. The Bears got the Lions here.
Who you got for that game?
I picked the Bears to win that game.
I picked the Bears too. Even though the Lions just beat Green Bay.
But the Lions also are a high-scoring team
yes,
too. Don't forget, the Bears can't stop anybody. So
come on now, you can't just say you just had the Bears winning and all of a sudden
the defense can't stop anybody, Mike. Look at their last 3 games.
It's the Lions, for God's sakes. And remember, I have a bet with Anthony about the Lions not beating the Bears. He has the Lions beating the Bears. I don't know why.
Well, again, the Bears play the Lions. The Bears should win it. They can make a couple of key plays and force some punts, for God's sakes. They don't force the teams to kick. So we'll see what happens. But I got the Bears winning that game. It's here, so maybe they'll win that game.
Yeah.
Against Detroit, So, anything else you want to say about this game?
Bears game is done. I'm waiting to see who wins the next game. I got the Bears winning. I know Detroit just beat Green Bay,
I want to talk about
which was pretty impressive on that.
What did we say last week, Mike? What did we say? What's going to happen to the Packers if they lose to the Lions?
Now, for Green Bay.
It's not just that. Mike, they only put up 9 points. And Aaron Rodgers' team only put up 9 points? What's going on? What is going on?
No receivers, 1. And 2, Aaron Rodgers is now trying to do too much. Did you watch it?
He went off. He was pissed off. He was ranting on the bench.
But he was messing up himself.
He threw 3 interceptions.
And they were his fault interceptions. It wasn't passes that hit off a helmet and flew up in the air for 10 feet and someone else caught it. No. These were blatant, right in the end zone. Somebody just pops up and just jumps up and grabs it.
Oh, yeah, I saw that one. I saw the one where he threw it right to the player.
Those were bad. Those were on him. He can't blame the receivers for that. That was on him.
What are his numbers now? Because
horrible. He had 3 interceptions.
No. What is his numbers for the years? I told you his interception rate.
Interceptions.
I said when was the last time he threw that in the game?
Unheard of for Aaron Rodgers. Unheard of. If it does happen, it's like a fluke. I think last year he had like 1 game that he had like 2 interceptions.
That man probably hasn't thrown 2 interceptions in at least 10 years.
Now it's a routine.
In 1 game?
Now it's a routine thing. Getting interception after interception after interception. Man.
So
all that money. But you lose it every week. I'm not liking this.
Look at this. Look at his stats so far. He's thrown for 2,091 yards for the year. That's 8th in the league. That's not bad. He throws for 14 touchdown passes and 7 interceptions. He's tied 27th in the league. That's unheard of for him. At this point, he would have 14 touchdowns to either 1 interception or no interceptions.
At this point, he'd have about
22 touchdowns
and
1 interception.
Maybe 2 interceptions. Those are Aaron Rodgers.
I told you his interception rate was going to go up this season.
Yes.
Told you.
Yes. He doesn't have anyone that's going to catch those balls.
And he's forcing shit. He's forcing crap down. That's unheard of for him.
Those guys just
he's pulling a Brett Favre. But Brett Favre
guys aren't ready. And that's the problem. He's making these passes. And they're bouncing off their chest, bouncing off their face mask.
Well, that's not his fault, though.
What do you mean it's not his fault?
The receiver is supposed to catch that.
Exactly. As a receiver, once that ball touches your hand, your body, you're supposed to catch that because he made that that pass
Well,
accurately.
it's not necessarily
You're
Aaron
supposed to
Rodgers.
catch that ball.
It's not necessarily Aaron
So-
Rodgers doing that though. It's his receivers.
But
are not
those
catching it.
interceptions are his fault. That's all I'm just stating. I watched that and it looked bad.
Now they
And he
ran
was
for
going
106
off. He was
yards.
going crazy that game, boy.
But the Lions still, their defense though, their defense played a little bit better, but their offense couldn't. Green Bay couldn't score shit. I'm so happy.
That's ridiculous.
So he scored a touchdown. They missed an extra point, and they scored a field goal. I'm so happy. I really am. You got Detroit. I mean, you got Green Bay scoring 9 points. And you got the Bears putting up 30-something points.
Did you see who Green Bay's leading rusher was?
Aaron Rodgers.
Unbelievable. 40 yards.
What did A.J. Dillon do? What did Jones do?
Yeah. So that was the
Aren't
problem.
those, isn't that their bread and butter?
That's their problem. 34 yards and 25 yards from Jones. Unacceptable. Those numbers are unacceptable.
Well, hold on.
Unacceptable.
What about Green Bay's receivers? What about Lazard had 87 yards? But you know who got hurt? Dubs got hurt.
Yep.
So a lot of the players did get hurt. Dubs got hurt.
Romeo
ankle.
Dobbs is out. So he's going to be out for a while.
Did they say that though?
Yeah, he's going to be out for a while. So he's missing him. He's missing his boy Cobb. You know, I mean.
How long is Cobb going to be out for? But even if he comes back, you could just double him now.
A few more weeks for sure.
Wow.
A few more weeks for sure.
So they dropped to 3-6.
Sad.
They're tied with the Bears for 3-6.
Sad.
Detroit increases to 2-6. So, what is your outlook for the Green Bay Packers
The Green Bay Packers will probably
for
win
the rest of the season?
2 more games, maybe 3 more games for the whole rest of the
So
season.
you got them going 6-11.
Maybe 5.
6-11.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Wow.
Horrible.
Wow.
They don't have
But
receivers.
okay.
Aaron Rodgers is now, like you said, trying to do too much. You're trying to do too much. He lost his cool. Usually he's real cool, collected. He looks around. He knows the timing of the game. He understands the game. He's a guru at the game. But right now, he's trying to make things happen so these receivers catch the ball or make a special play out of nowhere. And it's just not happening with these guys. Even when the pass goes through, these guys aren't catching it. And I'd be getting mad too. Because Aaron Rodgers is putting it all into it. Listen, Aaron Rodgers, don't get me wrong here, he did throw for 291 yards. You know,
Those 3 interceptions.
those
in
3
the red zone.
interceptions made it look bad.
He doesn't throw interceptions in the red zone.
Yeah.
His QB rating was 53.5.
And that's
He
probably
went
got to be his
291
worst.
yards. He missed
That's probably
20
gotta be his
passes.
worst.
He missed 20 passes and threw 3 picks.
Yeah.
He only got sacked 1 time. But, yeah, well, you know, sorry, Green Bay fans, but you're not getting any sympathy from me.
Detroit's defense did all the work for them because look
Their
at this
offense
here.
did nothing.
Exactly.
Jared Goff.
Exactly. Jared Goff
What did he throw?
had 2 touchdowns.
Okay, it's not bad. He threw for 2 touchdowns.
Rushing.
More
No-
touchdowns than Aaron Rodgers.
No one rushed the ball in. The receiving, James Mitchell and Shane Zylstra. 2 no-namers. Like, when's the last time you even said those names? You know,
They might be a household name against the Bears.
15
Hopefully
points
not.
the Lions put up. You don't think the Bears are going to put up about 27 points.
Yeah, but let's not forget though. Detroit. See, here's the thing. They're 1-6 because 2-6 because they are a bad team. No doubt about it. They are bottom feeders. Okay, we agree.
Agreed.
But they have a high octane offense. Believe it or not, they score a lot of points a game. They may not have scored against Green Bay this week, but look at their other games.
Yeah, I
They're
know.
scoring 20 over 25, 30 points a game.
So what's stopping us from putting up 30 points on them?
Nothing's stopping us from putting up. I have no doubt that the Bears could possibly put up 30 plus points against Detroit. My problem with the Bears is they're giving up 30 something points a game. So, I mean, that's the problem.
Yeah.
And Detroit can score. You know, they're these crappy names that you mentioned. You know, look at Jared Goff's numbers this season. Look at their numbers. They're not a bad scoring team. They are a decent offensive team. They have a horrible defense, and they're just a shitty team. But offensively, they're good. You know, they're like the Bears. They have a good offense, but a terrible defense. You know, but their defense showed up to play against Green Bay,
Mm.
which is I don't understand why sometimes can the Bears at least show up to play against Green Bay's offense one game? Can the Bears defense ever show up against somebody? Can the Bears offense show up against Green Bay? They're playing them pretty soon. I think what is this week 9 now?
So I have a bold. I have a bold prediction for you, right?
Yeah.
Normally, when the Bears play Green Bay, being the Bears fan that I am, I still know that Green Bay is still going to put it on us. So I usually bet against the Bears because Aaron Rodgers is Aaron Rodgers. But now, this year, in the game coming up, I have the Bears beating Green Bay. I think the whole fear that we have of Aaron Rodgers and of the Green Bay Packers, because before, like I used to tell Frank, and I used to have evidence every time I would say Green Bay Packers, Frank would leave a wet spot wherever he's sitting because
get out of here. No way.
That name just puts the fear of God in.
No, it doesn't put the fear of God in nothing.
It's a Bears fans,
not
Bears players, because he owns us, and he's proud to say, "I own you."
So
I own you.
So when they beat him here in a couple of weeks, what will you say then?
That's what I'm saying. That whole mystique and that whole fear of the Green Bay Packers and Aaron Rodgers has diminished, and I think the Bears are gonna see them and see that he's beatable, and they're able to beat him. And I think the Bears are going to beat the Green Bay Packers on the next meeting.
Let's see what their records are at the time when they meet. They meet week 13.
The Green Bay Packers are going to lose to the Chicago Bears on their next meeting, no matter what. That's my prediction.
Okay.
That's my prediction. They're not scared anymore, and I think Justin Fields is going to run all over them. They don't have a good defense, and their receivers suck. So, yeah, I got us winning.
Well, it's a little bit of ways away, actually.
All
Still
right.
about a month or so away before they play. And they play, here. Not that makes a difference. But we'll see where they are, where these teams are at that time. So, but Green Bay, we've always been saying every week for the last 7 weeks, they're in trouble. Let's make this clear. They're not making the playoffs. Correct?
Clear.
They're not going to win the division.
Clear.
So where are they going to go from here? We know where the Bears are going. They got their money lined up and they got their draft picks lined up. What is Green Bay going to do? They're going to go after receivers, and there's not a big crop of free agent wide receivers this offseason. Are they going to make some deals with some teams to try to trade with them? Before the Bears try to stop that shit from happening, because they try to counter move each other sometimes. So no, we're going to try to get this.
So look here, Frank.
Get ahead of the game there.
Winnable game.
Okay.
Winnable game.
I don't know. The Falcons are.
Get out of here. Marcus Mariota is not going to do anything against the damn Bears. I'm sorry. Cordarrelle Patterson just came back from injury. Congratulations. And he did rush 2 touchdowns, and of course on his game back.
So Mike is saying the Bears' next couple of games are the Lions on November 13th.
Winnable.
He has the Falcons on November 20th at Atlanta.
Winnable.
And then you got at New York on the 27th of November.
I think this is also a winnable game. The Jets. I think we can beat the Jets.
And then we got the Packers here on December 4th.
I already called out that we will beat them.
But man, look at the next 2 games after that.
Loss and loss.
Okay. We have the Eagles and the Bills back to back. And what's bad about it is both of these teams are coming here. Yeah. So they give the Bears 3 home games in a row. Against the Packers. Great. Packers, Eagles, Bills.
Well, let's see what the Eagles' health is going to be at that time and what the Bills' health is going to be at that time.
Well, the Eagles are high rolling. They're still
so are the Bills. Shit.
Bills just lost.
To the Jets.
Which... That was a surprising game, because I definitely had the Bills winning that game. But it's a division game. So the division games, when division rivals play against each other, it's usually a closer game, and there's usually sometimes an upset there. Unlike if the Bills would have lost to Detroit Lions, then that would have truly been an upset. This was an upset, but it's a competitive division, so not so much when I look back at it now. They are division rivals, so I'm not surprised by that loss by the Bills. The Jets are not a bad team, you're right, but they're a division team for the Bills. So that's a little bit different. So I expected, kind of not surprised that happened. But nonetheless, they still lost.
Yeah.
And were there any other games that you went to? There weren't that many games because a lot of teams had buys this week. I'm looking at something that stands out to me. One thing that does stand out to me, two actually. Did you see that Rams Buccaneers game on? Was that Sunday night?
I did.
Where you saw Tom Brady a game-winning score.
The comeback. Of course I did. That's my boy.
Oh, it was your boy again, huh?
He's been my boy. I never turned my back on Brady. I never said it was time for him to hang it
Just
up.
still 4-5.
It's okay. It's still Tom terrific. You saw when he came out, he was excited. It was fucking awesome. That's exactly what he told the reporters when he came out. Because he got his groove back. The divorce is behind him. He already knows what's ahead now. He looks like he came out refreshed. His whole face, his whole demeanor looked better on Sunday. And he did it. I mean, 280 yards, a touchdown, 58 passing attempts. That's a lot. Tom Brady has a lot left in the tank, man. A lot left in the tank.
58 times you threw the ball. God. But you know why? They have the absolute worst rushing game in the history of the NFL.
Yeah.
The Buccaneers do. And 45-year-old Tom Brady is not going to win no championship if he doesn't have any kind of running game whatsoever.
Well, they need to invest in that. I thought Leonard Fournette would have been the answer.
The worst running game in the
why did they
league.
not invest into another running back?
So, why? They probably don't have the money for it. As a team, they only rushed for 51 yards as a team. Hell, Justin Fields had more than that on the 60-yard rushing play.
By the first quarter.
Yeah. I mean, my goodness. So, yeah, Tom Brady, he threw for 280 yards. But then when you add the rushing game, that's a low offensive output.
It is.
Because even if he puts up 330 yards or 350 yards, that is still not good. Because you look at it, if you don't have a running game, you want to put up as a team probably close to 450 yards as a team, right? You're not going to be throwing for 450 yards. That's very rare.
Right.
So you're going to throw for maybe 300. Where's your other 200 going to come from?
Well, look at the distribution for the receivers, though. Look at how many receivers, caught a ball from Brady.
Oh, my goodness. There was a Allen Robinson sighting. He actually got 3 receptions for 24 yards.
Yes.
Good job there, Allen Robinson.
Yep.
You left the Bears to grab for 24 yards and no show in the game.
He hasn't been doing
I forgot he was even on that team.
Yeah, he hasn't been doing anything. He's been
no disrespect to the Buccaneers. I was going to look at that, but yes, I'm looking at their receiving yards. Of course, you had Cade Cotton. He's their leading receiver.
Yeah.
Mike Evans. What's with him? What's with him?
He's all right. He's still doing all right. He had 5 receptions. He had 40 yards. I mean, everyone was in the 40s and 50s. So he was right there. Tom seemed to be distributing the ball around to all the receivers. He felt generous that game. And it paid off. I'm going to tell you who I'm more surprised
Julio
on this
Jones.
team. There you go.
But he's old now.
Come on. He's still Julio Jones. This guy is still a runner. He can still jump. He can still catch the ball. That's what he is a pro at. That's what he does.
You know what I kind of recognize? They put a lot of Buccaneers games on TV.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
And that is one name I just don't hear at all.
Yeah.
I don't hear any. You hear Julio Jones like he's actually studying when he's still playing in the league.
Yeah.
You don't know because his name was never mentioned anymore.
He faded away just like Matt Ryan did on the bench.
And 28 yards, 2 receptions. You're supposed to be a top receiver. What happened? Injuries and age, I guess.
Yep.
Chris Godwin, what's he doing? He got 7 receptions, but 36 yards. Chris Godwin should be getting close to 100 yards.
Hey, 7 receptions is good.
I mean, he's supposed to be picking up the slack. Him and Evans are supposed to be picking up the slack for Gronk not being there no more since he retired. No one seems to be picking up that void.
Yeah, you're right. And they predicted
I
this.
mean,
This was predicted.
Leonard Fournette is trying to contribute again with 40-something yards receiving, but he's more or less he's the rushing rusher. He runs the ball, not catches the ball. And that's why your production in the running game is horrible. 51 yards is pathetic. Average of 2.6 yards a game. That's horrible. A carry, actually. 6.2 yards average. Hell, I could do 2.6 yards. Shit,
Oh, you said 2.6.
2.6 yards a carry.
I thought you said 6.2. I was like, wow, you can do 6.2?
No.
Shit, you should be in the NFL right now.
But, the Rams weren't no better either. They only ran for 68. However, the Rams have a superstar in Cooper Kupp, who did receive for 127 yards and a touchdown. With that long pass he had for like 69 yards that he had. God, that
he's a stud.
He is.
He's a stud. He's reliable. Everyone knows the ball is going to go to this guy, and somehow he's still creating separation. And he's still catching the ball.
Imagine if Tampa Bay, if Tom Brady or Aaron Rodgers had him on their team.
That would be the main guy. Just like that's who what's his name? Matthew Stafford. That's the only guy he can really depend on.
That's his Megatron.
Yes. Yes. Come on. 127. Yeah. The next guy was Allen Robinson with 24 yards.
He only got 3 receptions.
And then the next guy was Malcolm Brown with 10. Come on.
The Rams, again, Mike, it's that done. Super Bowl hangover.
They're done.
It's that Super Bowl hangover. That's why it's hard for teams to repeat.
They're done.
So they're not going to make the playoffs, and they're not even going to make the playoffs. They're not going to be able to defend their championship, I don't think, because, they're losing. What are they, 3-6 now?
They're done.
Yep, they sure are. Cook them, they're done. Cook the Packers, they're done. And the Bucks would be done too if they weren't in such a shitty division. They'd be done too.
Yeah.
But they're in a good division. They're in a crappy division, so they might make the playoffs. And also too,
I want to talk about something real quick.
Go ahead.
The Las Vegas Raiders.
Oh yeah.
So we were talking about games that were surprising. Well, if this wasn't a big surprise, I don't know what was, because actually, I started watching this game, and the Raiders were putting it on the Jaguars.
I was watching the score.
They were putting it on the Jaguars.
Yeah, they were up 17-0. I'm like, they're destroying the Jaguars. I'm thinking about my pick. I'm like, well, this was a shitty pick.
At 14 nothing, I was like, they're just putting it on these guys. You know what? Let me change. And I changed the channel. Next thing I know, I look up, and the Raiders lost the damn game. They did nothing in the second half.
They were outscored 27. They were outscored 27-3.
That's ridiculous.
Because it was 17-0, they lost 27-20. That means the Jaguars only scored 3 more points, and the Raiders scored 27 points.
The Raiders are one of the biggest disappointments in the league this year.
Well,
I don't care what anyone says.
What did
It's not Indianapolis. I'm sorry, it's not them. Green Bay is another disappointment, but at least they got 3 wins. The Raiders lost after loss after loss, and they have a lot of talent on the team. So what's stopping this? I mean, you were up 17-0. Is it the defense?
What did Devontae Adams do?
He did what Devontae Adams does.
Oh, okay. 146 yards, 10 receptions, and 2 touchdowns.
Devontae Adams does. He does what he was supposed to do. 10 receptions, 146 yards, 2 touchdowns. I'm pretty sure I saw him score those 2 touchdowns. And that was it. I changed the channel. I was like, oh, this is going to be a blowout. Next thing I know, 27-0. Jacksonville wins. Jacksonville.
No, they outscored them 27-3.
Jacksonville shows spots of greatness here and there. So far this season, they've beaten some pretty good teams. The teams that they have beaten are good teams. But I don't know. I still don't have them going anywhere. Obviously at 3-6. But the Raiders,
neither one of these teams are going anywhere.
Raiders was the main focus.
2-6.
Yeah.
Unless they somehow win the rest of their games and don't lose no more.
It's not going to happen.
No, yeah, they would be done.
And last but not least,
go ahead.
Last but not
Yeah, Seahawks beat the Cardinals 31-21.
Yeah.
Can we please
give Geno Smith his flowers?
No. I ain't gonna talk about Geno Smith. I want to talk about that yet.
How are we not talking about Geno Smith?
Great job, Geno. But I want to talk about the Arizona Cardinals, who everyone, God, picked them to win this division. And Kyle Murray's, probably MVP numbers. And, he's the best thing since sliced bread. And, everything else about this kid. And then they want to sit there and criticize the coaching staff because they put something in his contract talking about he needs to watch film. Well, 175 yards is mediocre for someone like him. Where did he rush for? 60 yards? He's been, to me, I don't know about you, but he's been very disappointing to me. He's not living up to what he was supposed to be living up to.
Disappointing.
And that team is bad. They're 3-6. They're just as bad as the Bears. This team is supposed to be 6-3, not 3-6.
Yep, agreed.
And the Seahawks are supposed to be 3-6, not 6-3.
I don't know about that.
Stop it.
I don't know.
We all predicted when this season started, the Seahawks would be a bad team.
Geno came out. Geno was reborn.
But we weren't saying this week one when the season started. We said the Seahawks are going to be a bad team. They're a rebuilding team. I know I had them saying that.
The Seahawks had a quarterback competition at that time. Remember at the beginning of the season, there were two people competing for the quarterback position. And I can't remember who it was, but he got hurt, and Geno is a full-time guy. And guess what?
Geno took over for Russell Wilson when Russell Wilson was hurt last year.
Quarterback competition. There was someone else there that Coach Carroll couldn't decide who he wanted to have, because I've seen both those guys play this year, and the other guy got hurt, and since he did, Geno Smith has just been unstoppable. It's 4 wins in a row. 4 in a row.
Yeah.
And it's not like he's beating bad teams.
And guess what else? They are leading their division.
Yes.
They're 6-3.
Yes.
San Francisco is 4-4.
Yes.
The Rams are 3-5, and at the bottom of the division are the overrated Arizona Cardinals. So now I'm gonna start putting this on to Kyle Murray.
Yep.
Mr. Overrated.
Yep.
I don't want to call him another Ben Simmons of the NFL.
Oh no.
Because he's not complaining about. No,
We're
I'm not going to do that. But this guy is overrated, and he is not living up to nothing. So unless he has a spectacular second half of the season, they're going to be last place in the division, and Seattle's probably going to win it.
Frank,
There's still an outside chance I might say San Francisco could still win the division.
I see this as a continuation of last season when he was losing.
Well, he started out good.
And then after game 8, it was just downhill. Loss. And this year, 3 wins for all that money they're paying him. I don't know. He does have some tools around him, though. It's not like he doesn't have tools. He does have Zach Ertz. He does have DeAndre Hopkins. He does have James Conner. He has guys around him. He's just not winning.
Well, this is the Cardinals, right? So the Cardinals are playing the Rams next week in LA. So
I got the Rams winning that game.
I do too. That's who I picked to win that game.
I got the Rams winning that game.
And then some notable games. We have the Seahawks, as you're just talking about.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to Tom Brady's home to play Tommy.
That's gonna be
Brady.
That's gonna be a tough game, but it's gonna be an L.
For who?
For the Seahawks.
Oh boy. Back on the Tom Brady gravy train.
Here we go with the back on. I never got off.
Back on it again.
I never got off.
Yeah, when they last week they were 3-5, you said they're done. I'm still saying they're probably done. They're going to be a mediocre
I never got off.
team, and they're not. If they do make the playoffs, they're going to get bounced.
I didn't say they were done. They were 1 game behind the team that's leading.
There's going to be a give and take in this game.
There's
a give and take on this game, and we'll get into the Bulls. Because I'm looking at some notable games here. The Vikings are at the Bills next week. Who do you have? This is in Buffalo.
I have the Bills winning because, one, they're in Buffalo.
And you got the Vikings finally losing the game here?
Yes.
They're 7-1. They're gonna lose another. They're gonna finally lose?
Yes.
Okay. I got the Bills winning that game too.
The Bills don't lose 2 in a row, man.
No. They don't. Now, what about this game? Cowboys going to Green Bay.
Cowboys. Sorry.
Cowboys don't do very well in Green Bay.
I have no confidence in the Green Bay Packers anymore. And I don't think Aaron Rodgers has any confidence in himself or that team or his coach.
Well, maybe that's a problem with the coach then.
So I don't think they mesh. I don't think Rodgers is liking the plays that LaFleur is calling. And I think he's lost all confidence in the team. And now he's just doing too much and trying to manufacture shit. And it's just not working. So, unfortunately, like I said, the Packers might win 3 more games maximum.
It ain't gonna. This ain't gonna be one of them.
No, it's not. Because I think Dallas is gonna put the business on them.
Oh, I hate both these teams.
Dallas is gonna put the business on them.
But
they can pass, they can run, and Dallas got that finger licking good defense.
It wasn't so finger looking good against the Bears.
Did they win?
They won, but it wasn't because of their defense, that's for sure. If I'm not mistaken, Justin Fields damn near should have put like 35 on them. It almost did. But I will say this, though. It'll be the only week, usually, that I'll be a Cowboys fan. Because I do want to see Dak and company go up there, have Jerry's boys go up there to Lambeau Field and tear Green Bay a new asshole, and maybe see Aaron Rodgers throw another 3 interceptions in Lambeau Field in front of his fans.
I predict he's going to throw 2 more interceptions this game.
What would you say that score of this game will be?
Dallas 31, Green Bay 21.
Well, the way Green Bay has not been able to score lately, I'm going to say 35-6.
Wow.
Hey,
6?
9 points and we put up against Detroit. So if they're only putting up 3 points against Detroit, whose defense isn't that good, you're going against Dallas's finger-licking defense. So you think Aaron Rodgers is struggling now? Is he going to be struggling against that finger-licking defense of the Cowboys you want to talk about? I mean, come on. So, I got 35-6. Dak will probably throw for three touchdowns.
300 yards.
3 touchdowns, over 300 yards.
Yep.
I don't see Ezekiel Elliott doing shit, but the other running backs
He'll run about 65, 70 yards.
I think it'll be a collective effort that they'll run over 100 yards off the crappy defense.
Crazy.
But, and anything else you want to talk about before we get into the Bulls?
We're good on all the football games. I mean, the Kansas City Chiefs, last one, with the Titans. You saw that game, right?
Yes, I did. Well,
you saw when in overtime?
Yes.
So how they got to overtime with Patrick. I mean,
hey, he's Pat Mahomes.
Mahomes is for real.
But you know what, though?
He's for real.
But you know what, though? KC does not want to play them again. They are hoping. Kansas City is hoping that they don't have to play the Titans again, because the Titans actually does have the number and they should have won this game.
Right.
They beat them in the playoffs a couple of years ago. They don't want to see them no matter where they play them. So they won. They escaped a win there, and they got that win. But they are very glad they don't got to stay. They hope they don't want to have to see Tennessee again. It's just one of those matchups. It's matchups. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So that is one team that don't want to play.
I don't know, man. Patrick Mahomes threw for 446 yards. 446
Did he throw for that many
yards. He threw the ball 68 times. 68 times this guy threw the ball for. He's got an arm. He also rushed for 63 yards on that team. He led his team in rushing, Patrick Mahomes. A rushing touchdown. He's for real.
He threw for a lot of yards, but only threw for 1 touchdown. He got sacked 4 times and he threw an interception. So the yardage-wise, he was killing it, but the Titans contained him for the most part.
446
He only threw for 1 touchdown.
446 yards?
He threw for 1 touchdown. He ran for the other one, but he only threw for 1 touchdown.
Oh, I can't see containment.
That is contained. That's a bend and don't break.
Bro,
defense.
Bro.
Means you'll give up the yards, but you're not going to give up the touchdowns.
It took like 3 weeks to throw it for that many yards at some point. Come on now. Give the man his credit. 446 yards.
Oh, no, I'll give him the credit.
It's crazy.
But what I'm saying is that when I look at that, that's impressive, the yardage, but when someone has 446 yards, you probably expect 4 or 5 touchdown passes. Yeah. Not 1 touchdown pass and an interception.
4 or 5. 3.
Okay.
I would have expected 3.
Probably 4. 400 yards. a touchdown every 100 yards, yes, I expect.
I mean, look at the
that.
receivers. Oh my God, 106, 88, 79, 45,
Juju
40,
Smith-Schuster
37,
and Kelsey took over.
14, 12, 12. This man was distributing that ball. He was passing that ball around.
Well, I mean, we'll see what they do next week with who they play. Who do they play?
Who?
The Chiefs. They play the Jaguars. Well, there may be another 446-yard passing game.
Hey, the Jaguars might surprise us.
We'll see. That's in KC. Maybe I can understand the Titans because they did it before, but not the Jags. But anyway, moving on to the NBA. Just to get into the Bulls a little bit. Not a lot of news except for Kyrie Irving getting suspended 5 games. I think we were talking about that.
Yeah, we did
already.
A show on that.
Yeah, so nothing new there. But I do want to talk a little bit about the Bulls. So we're about 10 games in, okay? Or no, 12 games in. The Bulls have played 12 games. And they're 6-6.
Yep.
Not exactly where I wanted them to be right now.
I'll take it.
I wanted them to be somewhere around maybe 10-2, 9-3 or something like that in their first 12 games, not 6-6 at 500. You know, it was a slow start, but it's understandable. They've had some injuries. You got Drummond. You got Andre Drummond, and you got Kobe White hurt out right now. And of course, you got Ball, who's probably not coming back this season.
Mm-hmm.
And you got J.R. Levine. That's what I'm calling him now, J.R. Levine. You got J.R. Levine, who is can't play back-to-back games because of knee management. But he picked it up for them last night, though.
Right,
because he had to. Because he didn't play the day before. And they were double teaming. You saw they were double teaming DeRozan every time
of course.
that man had the ball. And you had to give it to someone who's going to make the shots. And that's exactly what the Bulls did. If you're going to double team DeRozan, then you're going to have someone that's going to be open. These guys are going to make the shots.
Yeah.
You have to stop that goddamn double team. And these teams will learn that if the Bulls start making the shots.
Yeah.
So they just got to get healthy. But there's a problem a little bit that I see in the Bulls right now. Ooh. And that is it's still the same problem that they had last year. They leave guys open too much for the three. And they give up way too many three-point shots. Way too many three-point shots. They leave people wide open for the three. And then also two things. They give up the three, and then when they were double teaming DeRozan a lot, pass the ball down low to Vooch or someone down low to dunk the ball or whatever. Go down low and be more productive down low. You know, fine, I know you got Vooch out there shooting threes and blocking shots, which he did. He was blocking some shots. His defense showed up yesterday. So I was actually glad for that. And so, but I need some more inside presence there. The little hook shot, I like that, but you got to put some pressure on these other teams' inside game, And so
that's what Drummond's supposed to be doing.
Yeah, but he's not playing right now. So I'm thinking these guys got to get healthy because right now they're staying afloat, I guess, at 500. Where are they at right now in the East? 6? They're 6 in the East. And then, I think that should pick up once they get everyone back. Now, again, I don't expect Ball to come back this year. I don't know how you feel about that, but I don't expect him to come back this season at all.
Me neither. I think he is going to come back, play about 2-3 weeks, re-aggravate the knee, be out till next year. Be out till next team.
I just don't see him coming back
this
season.
You were saying about the Bulls. I feel like the Bulls, considering how the East has improved.
Yes, they have.
Are in a good place. At 6-6 in 6th place in the East. I mean, the Raptors just picked up a game over us. They're like half a game ahead of us.
Well, you figure
that's gonna be a battle.
I figure there's 2 teams out here that are gonna pick it up easily on this list below the Bulls. That's the Miami Heat and the Sixers are gonna pick it up.
Yep.
So the Bulls have got to pick it up. So they have got to move up that list a little bit. They beat Toronto, but they shouldn't have lost to Toronto to begin with.
Cleveland's a monster with.
Well, again, we'll see. They lost last night. They were kind of exposed.
8-2, man.
I know, but we'll see
exposed?
We'll see what happens.
Were the Milwaukee Bucks exposed because they lost one?
They lost yesterday? 2.
They were exposed.
Well, this record's a little deceiving for Milwaukee, and I'll tell you why.
I like to hear it.
Look at their record. They're 9-1.
Mm-hmm.
Good. But look at their record. 7 of those 9 games, or of the 10 games they played, have been at home.
Mm-hmm.
They have a big load of home games. They have not played on the road. They have not played on the road. So let's see how impressive the record is when they start playing on the road.
Okay.
Because I don't think this is going to... I'm not saying they're not going to be a top team, because they probably are going to be one of the top teams in the East. Let's not take that away.
Top 3 for sure.
Probably them and Boston. I'll concede to those 2 teams are probably going to hold the number 1 and number 2 spot. But 3 through 8 is wide open. To be honest with you, it is. So the Bulls may not get 1 or 2, but shit, they could try to strive to get number 3. That way, I'd rather for the Bulls to play Cleveland if the Cleveland holds, like, for example,
I don't want to see
in the first round.
See Donovan Mitchell, man. I don't want to see Donovan Mitchell.
Well, you want to avoid Boston and Milwaukee.
That's true.
I think the Bulls have a better chance of competing better with Boston right now than Milwaukee, because Milwaukee is somewhat of a big team. Cleveland is a big team too, but I think the Bulls do match up with Cleveland. And when we play them again, we'll see if the Bulls are healthy. Cleveland is a good team, but I think the Bulls could take them. I think the Bulls could beat them in a 7-game series. I think they have a better shot of beating Boston and beating Milwaukee. Milwaukee is just too big, and I'd love to see them beat Milwaukee, but to try to avoid to let someone else beat them.
Yeah.
Let someone else take them. Let the 76ers deal with Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Or a team like that. But the Bulls are in the 6th, but they should be higher. And I would expect for them to be higher. Maybe a 3 or a 4, in the East. At least one of those top 4 teams where they get the home court in the first round.
Yeah.
First 2 rounds anyway, is what you hope for. So now they doubled the hell out of DeRozan. Toronto did. I don't know if that's a blueprint of what the other teams are going to do. If that is the case, then the other teams are going to be, in for a shock.
You don't think DeRozan's been double teamed before?
Well, this is why you're going to have Vujicic. You're going to have J.R.
You butchered that man's name.
You have to have J.R. You have to have J.R. Levine be open. Patrick Williams be open. These guys have to be open. Io will have to be open to get ready for these shots, because these two. They're going to double those 2 guys. That's going to leave only 2 or 3 guys open.
Yep.
So someone's got to be open to take the shot or drive it in or do a layup.
So my only complaint about the Bulls that I've seen this year so far, aside from my man being hurt, Levine, he's still showing up. Because look at the leading scorers on the Bulls. You have DeRozan at 23.8. Levine is right there at 21.9. I mean, he's doing his job. He's played 8 games compared to everyone else at 12. So he's missed 4 games. And he's put a positive impact on those games that he plays. I think he won 2 of those games himself, basically, when he did play. Vooch is putting up 16 points per game and 12 boards. Walking double-double. Don't get rid of him. Iowa's doing this thing at 12 points a game. Keep playing. I'm going to tell you who disappoints me on this team. Alex Caruso. He does his job with the steals. He does his job with the blocks. He's defensive and everything.
Yeah, that's what he's here for.
But he's a liability offensively. Do you see the shots this man takes? Horrible shots. Horrible shots.
Well, he's not supposed to be taking those shots.
Horrible shots.
You're not supposed to be taking those shots.
Let me finish that. Horrible shots. I was an Alex Caruso fan before you even knew who Alex Caruso fan when he was in L.A. And you know what he used to do in L.A.? He used to hit corner threes all the time. He'd be open. He used to hit them regularly. What happened that now all of a sudden you're missing shots left and right, like left and right. The other day I saw him put up a air ball layup just like Ben Simmons. And that's where I got mad. I was watching the game with Anthony, actually. An air ball layup. It's like, come on now, dude. I mean, what's going on? I get it that you concentrate a lot on your defense, but they're literally letting you shoot the ball and you're not making them pay. You're driving the ball in and you're just putting up something wild that's not even touching the rim. So, I do appreciate your game. The 5 points that you contribute per game. Thank you so much, Alex Caruso, but we need a little bit more out of you. Some of those games, if you could score maybe 5 points will make a big difference. We could have won some games with some of your points.
Well, he's not there for the scoring. He's there for the defense.
He's a professional.
Now, the one who's there for the
player.
scoring and his defense hasn't played since January, and that's Ball. He was brought here to shoot and to play defense.
I wrote him off on the team already.
So
he's written off to me. He's gonna play a few games. He's gonna be injured. He's gonna be gone. That's Bible talk.
Well, we'll see what happens. I don't expect to see him this year. The Bulls were really high on getting him for the last couple of years, though.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, we'll see what happens. Again, it's only a small sample. It's only 12 games in.
Yeah.
Let's see what they do in the next 20 games or 25 games.
We'll be talking about it.
So the next 25 games, let's see where they are 25 games from now.
Yeah.
If they're still at 500, then that might be a problem. By then, they definitely need to be, I'm hoping at least 10 games over 500 by that point.
Okay.
10 to 12 games over 500 at that point.
Now, before I know we're going over on our time right now. Before I do go, there is one team, because we talk about all these other teams. We always get on the Lakers and what they're not doing. Yes, they're still losing. Last night, LeBron sat out.
Did they win?
They lost.
No, they won.
They
lost.
Jazz. They lost.
Did they?
Lakers 116, Jazz 139. I watched it.
They got blown out.
Yeah, blown out.
That seems to be happening on a regular basis.
So we talk about them all the time, but let's deflect away from the Lakers. Let's talk about our world champions. So are we not going to talk about the world champions?
Let's talk about let's talk about the world champions.
4 and 7.
They're having a slow start.
Really? I don't think they're going to go anywhere.
I don't think so either.
I don't even think they're going to recover from this, because it looks to me like they're all looking at each other like, is this really happening? Did we really slow down this much?
I think they'll recover. I think they'll recover.
Steph Curry scored 40 points a game, and they're still not winning, Frank.
No, what I'm saying is I think they will recover and make enough games to get them to the playoffs. They're going to make the playoffs. Yeah, they're going to make the playoffs.
Really?
But I told you they're not going anywhere when they get in the playoffs. I got them as a second round knockout or conference finals knockout. That's where I have them. And I said this going back to last year that they were going to win last championship. But then this next year coming in, I said they're not going to win it. This doesn't surprise me. I told you already, they're an older team. They are an older team. They have a young bench, but they're an old team. And they've won the championship, and they're tired. They haven't recovered. They have not recovered from last season's winning. I mean, it was only, like you said, 4 months, right? It does make a difference. It makes a difference if you're an older team and you went from October to June.
You're right about that.
It does make a difference.
It's
and so
crazy.
Maybe they'll get
a much older team.
They'll get a second
4 months
wind.
Later.
Yeah, they'll get their second wind, and they'll make a push, and they'll get into the playoffs. They'll probably get maybe a 6th seed, maybe a 5th seed.
Look at the team leaders on this team. Points per game. Steph
Curry is in points, 32. Rebounds, and assists.
Rebounds.
Where's Draymond Green for that?
Rebounds.
What's Draymond Green
This man
doing?
is leading the team in rebounds at 7.1 rebounds per game. Oh, assists 6.9. This is the MVP for real on this team.
Draymond Green is putting up 9 points a game.
Triple singles.
He's putting up 6 boards a game.
Triple singles
and
5
assists a game.
Triple singles. Oh wow, wowzers! Patrick Williams does that here. Same thing. The Shell put on, what was he doing? 15 points a game? Is that what the Shell's putting up? 15 points a game for the Shell. Big fall off, because back in the day, before the Shell injured himself or got injured, he used to put up 24 to 26 points a game with stuff. They would have won those games. But right now, he's just not himself anymore, which I've been saying. You keep telling me he's still recovering from this injury a year later. I don't know. They're not going anywhere.
He's older now.
Not going anywhere.
They'll make the playoffs, but they're not going to go anywhere in the playoffs. That I agree with you.
Okay.
No, I haven't stopped talking about them. But I told you that last year was it for them, for this group of players. They're not going to get back to that glory of championships no more. Draymond Green is not going to be on that team after this year. Klay Thompson may not be there either. They may trade him. Steph Curry is going to be the cornerstone. Is going to stay there, of course, but I think they're going to have Jordan Poole there and Wiggins as their corner pieces, and they'll still be competitive, but they won't make the championship.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. That's what I think is going to happen. But we'll see. We'll see. Only time will tell. But they are definitely underperforming. Definitely not where they should be, where they expect to be. But they never count a champion out, though, right?
Yeah.
Never count them out. They are experienced. They are the defending champions. They have earned it. So
you think Steph Curry's gonna be able to keep up this at his age right now, and all the miles on his legs? You think he's gonna keep putting up?
He's not gonna
35 points a game.
No, I don't.
Every night. No.
I don't think so.
Eventually, he's gonna have an ankle pull or a hamstring pull.
But I don't think
be pulled. Eventually,
but I don't think. But I don't. I think he knows how to curb that. Obviously, when the other players get their stuff together and this team gets their shit together and gels, and they'll be okay to a certain degree. I don't. They're gonna win games, and they're gonna get it back together. They're gonna climb up. The season is still young.
Okay.
We're not a month in yet, so you're gonna get it together. Probably by All-Star break, a little bit after All-Star break, you'll see they'll be right where probably they'll be a top 6 team, maybe 5. I got them maybe going as high as 5. They're not going to have home court advantage. If they do, they might get as high as number 4 for the first round. But after that, I don't think they're not going to have home court for the rest of maybe the first round tops, but that's it. But I got them losing most likely in the second round of the playoffs. They might make it to the conference finals, but they're going to get knocked out by probably a Memphis or
I think Memphis will be the team that would take them out.
Yeah.
Memphis called it out, said they were getting old last year. They did call them out and said they were getting older. And I think Memphis has the best chance of taking them if they make the playoffs. They don't look that good to me. But like you said, very small sample of the season. We got a long season to go, so we're only talking a month in. So
it's a long time to go.
We gotta give it some more time. But speaking of time, we have crept up on our limit for our show today, and so we do, want to say thank you once again for listening. Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Apple.
And of course, YouTube.
Yep, watching us on YouTube. Thank you so much. And I have gotten actually a few questions. We had questions, about Lonzo. I had a comment about, we had comments about not wanting to see Lonzo be gone, give him another chance. They feel like we're speaking down on Lonzo.
I don't think so. The man doesn't play. He's been out since January. If you're out since January, you should have had whatever surgery you needed to be done, get done. You knew you weren't going to play the rest of the year. You don't try to have surgery a couple of weeks before training camp. You don't think I need to get surgery now. What the hell were you doing the last 9 months?
Yeah.
10 months. So no, you don't get a pass on this. I don't think he's going to play this season. And in my opinion, I don't think he should play here anymore at all at this point. I hate players that would sit there and wait, get the shit done, get healed up, and help your team. You're getting paid millions of dollars to be here, and you want to help this team win. Sitting on the bench and not even on the team at all is not helping. You're not helping the team, Lonzo Ball. You're hurting the team. So, it's a selfish move, and they do it all the time. These NBA players do this all the time. I'm going to get surgery right before the season starts. No. You get the season, you get the surgery done right when the injury happens, and get it done.